Welcome to Installation and Migration Issues, the third lesson of SEP 14, Maintain and Troubleshoot. In this video, we'll talk about how to troubleshoot and resolve SEP for Linux install issues. Let's get started. But first, let's go through the highlights of a SEP for Linux setup. During the Review Prerequisites phase, the install checks to make sure that the computer meets Semantic Endpoint Protection's system requirements. System requirements include making sure that the computer is running a supported operating system. It also confirms that the user is logged in as root or has sudo rights. The setup adds the virus and spyware protection module and GUI interface to the system during the install phase. If required, the setup installs live update and autocompile. In the configure phase, setup configures drivers and services. It also compiles the autoprotect kernel, and at the end of the installation, live update is run. Note that real-time protection must have a compiled kernel module and content updates to function. Unlike Windows, the SEP for Linux installation package does not contain any content updates. Reasons for a failed SEP for Linux client installation include incorrect live update settings, which cause the client to fail to download virus definitions. As the install package does not contain virus definitions, the client continuously malfunctions. Another cause is missing environmental requirements. An example is i686 base-dependent packages for 64-bit computers. Many of the executable files in the Linux client are 32-bit programs. You must install an i686 base-dependent package before installing the Linux client. Or the install failed to run due to lack of permissions. To resolve, reattempt as root or with sudo privileges. Let's talk about how to gather evidence for a failed SEP for Linux install. The first step is to identify the deployment method. You can install Semantic Endpoint Protection directly on the computer with a client install package. Some organizations also use third-party deployment tools like Semantic Management Solution to deploy the Semantic Endpoint Protection client. During the Gather Evidence phase, you also collect logs. The Semantic Endpoint Protection for Linux client setup records events to the logs listed on the screen. Note the installation creates individual output for AutoProtect and Live Update. For the complete installation, review the sepfl-install.log. Another approach is to run symdiag or the sadiag script to collect diagnostic information. For more information on this topic, see the KBs listed on the screen. After gathering evidence, you're ready to research the issue. When researching a SEP for Linux client install issue, use the keywords that you gathered to search the semantic knowledge base. The search results show potential solutions that you can use in the repair and validate phase. You can also search or post on Semantic Connect. Review the symdiag results to identify what caused the installation to fail. Verify the system meets minimum system requirements by reviewing the installation guide. For more information on frequently asked SEP for Linux questions, see the KB listed on the screen. Unlike any other operating system, Linux comes in many distributions and versions. SEP for Linux supports a large range of versions and kernels out of the box. Since SEP 12.1.6, the installer provides auto-compiling for operating systems that are not supported by default. To determine which kernel version that you're running, use the command uname-a. The version and type of OS kernel that you're running will be displayed. To determine if Semantic supports your Linux version out of the box, see the KB article listed on the screen. During the repair phase, you apply a corrective action. Examples include ensuring that the SEP for Linux client install package contains the correct live update settings policy with a proxy server and/or a internal live update server configured as needed. You can also resolve a malfunctioning SEP for Linux client by installing an intelligent updater package on the endpoint. Install x64 Linux prerequisites before installing the Linux client. Log in with sudo or root privileges before starting the installation. After setup, ensure AutoProtect is compiled and running. If the computer is running 64-bit Linux, ensure that it has x64 prerequisites. On 64-bit Linux, you must install the 32-bit supporting library for SEP for Linux to run because many binaries are 32-bit. Use the commands shown to install these components. The Semantic Endpoint Protection Client installer for Linux auto-compiles the AutoProtect kernel module when the operating system kernel is not compatible with the pre-compiled AutoProtect kernel modules. During the end of the installation process, if the client installer detects no active AutoProtect modules, it launches the autocompiler, which runs to compile the compatible modules. After resolving an installation issue with SEP for Linux, ensure the installation logs record the AutoProtect kernel as compiled and running. For more information on this topic, see the KB listed on the screen. In this lesson, you learned how to describe the SEP for Linux client installation process, and you also learned how to troubleshoot and resolve a failed SEP for Linux installation. For more information about the topics discussed in this lesson, refer to the resources listed on the slide, and remember to frequently check the Semantic Support website. Thank you for watching this video.